What's going on, everyone? Badger here. Got a quick one for you because honestly, the speed at which James Gunn and his DCU has turned for some people from mild interest into just pure apathy is rather impressive. Thank God I don't own stock right now, especially we still have no idea who's buying, if they're splitting or what's going on. And I would take every single project announced, including the V for Vendetta show, as a grain of salt right now. But if we are to believe it, multiple Peacemaker characters will be returning for Superman, probably for DC Crime, but for sure for Superman. The first of which we have confirmed is, of course, Frank Grillo. You probably could have guessed that if you hadn't watched Peacemaker. Grillo and his Rick Flag Sr., specifically that and his deal with Lex Luthor and the forming of the Salvation metahuman planet prison that Argus is running. And then, of course, opposite of that, Checkmate, the organization that was made by Amanda Waller and was nefarious in the comics, was made by Adebayo, her daughter, and is going to be a hero organization. And those have all been confirmed to return for Superman, Man of Tomorrow. As they point out here, Peacemaker Season 2 concluded with Peacemaker and the rest of the 11th Street kids, along with Judo Master and Argus agents Sasha Bordeaux, and we've got some on her too, and Langston Fleury, the Tim Meadows character, founding Checkmate, and a vengeance-fueled Rick Flag Sr. establishing his villainous turn by kidnapping Chris and stranding him in Salvation, the Earth-like dimension Flag intends to use as a prison for the planet's metahumans, and there's dinosaurs in there, and we know it's connected to the comics, where in the comics it was the whole Salvation Run storyline. They're not doing that. They're just doing the basic concept of it, of a prison planet for metahumans, and that's where people will be. That's where Chris Smith is right now. So confirmed here on Instagram that Frank Grillo will be returning. Superman 2 confirmed to include 3 Peacemaker actors, one of them, of course, being Frank Grillo. And you can see here, well, I hope that James Gunn doesn't get in trouble by, oh, wait, he's the boss. For now. For now, he is. We'll see how long that lasts. So we got confirmation that, of course, the Rick Flag Senior character will be in Man of Tomorrow. We knew that would happen. And now, mentioned there briefly, but the Sasha Bordeaux character, everyone got a little upsetty spaghetti when she was referred to as a cyborg, and everyone thought that meant that she was going to be the female version of Victor Stone. No. She's a cyborg. She's not the cyborg. So in the comic, she's an OMAC cyborg. OMAC is the AI that Batman makes. I'm sure that the bare bones of that are true. But so according to My Time to Shine, Sol Rodriguez's Sasha Bordeaux has joined the cast of Man of Steel. She left Argus in the Peacemaker Season 2 finale to join Checkmate, and the series only briefly touched on her cybernetic abilities. So yeah, plenty of room for her to grow. And we also know, per Gunn, that Checkmate is a super... Remember, he apparently told David Zaslav the end of Peacemaker Season 2, and the sole reason for that entire season existing, so we could get the Salvation Planet and we could get the Checkmate organization. So she will apparently be representing the Checkmate organization in Superman, and it's supposed to have grown considerably from when we saw its inception in Peacemaker Season 2 to when we actually see it in the movies. And they even say here, we're still trying to find out what the villain will be. It's probably Brainiac. Either way, it's going to take copious amounts of makeup, prosthetics, and they want someone with a big, strong build and stature. And then, of course, we've got DC Crime, the Jimmy Olsen series. Well, no confirmation of Peacemaker characters on that. We do have Superman characters that will be returning. Of course, not the ones you might actually want, like Superman or Lois Lane. But you can see here, Nexus Point News shared some new details on the project, including which other Superman characters are, and probably more important, are not expected to appear. So according to the site, DC Studios is planning to shoot next spring in Atlanta, right around the time that Man of Tomorrow is filming, 2 months before Supergirl comes out. It's like they're rushing or something. Olsen's fellow Daily Planet crew, editor-in-chief Perry White, Steve Lombard, Kat Grant, and Ron Trope will feature, but Clark Kent and Lois Lane will not appear. So probably shouldn't surprise anyone, but obviously they will be busy featured in Superman 2, which, per James Gunn, we know has to do with Lex and Superman teaming up. As he says, Everything's connected. So there's a story here that we're telling throughout the DCU, and this is connected very much to Man of Tomorrow. But there are other elements, and part of that is the relationship between Rick Flag and Lex Luthor, and that's an important thing going forward in the DCU and Man of Tomorrow. And he also started talking about Lex and Superman working together. It's more complicated than that, but that's a big part of it. It's as much a Lex movie as it is a Superman movie. And then he goes on to talk about how much he loves Nicholas Hoult, Lex Luthor, and how of all the characters, James Gunn identifies with Lex Luthor over Superman or anyone else, which shouldn't shock anyone. So there it is. Do you care? I probably going to be the only one watching this DC crime spin-off series, a mockumentary docu-series about Gorilla Grodd. And by all accounts, it's not Gorilla Grodd of like each episode is going to be a new villain. It's apparently an entire series of Gorilla Grodd. And I don't know how you do that when you haven't introduced the Flash, who is Gorilla Grodd's main hero that he goes up against. So there it is. That's the story, Morning Glory. I will let you know if we get any new information. You let me know if you even care anymore. Either way, make sure to like, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you're going to do that, thank you. And
well, bye.